Hey guys, sorry in advance. My computer's fan is taking a shit for some reason. It just gets really loud. I think it's failing. It's certainly a lot slower than it was. Honestly, I need to just open it up and probably just clean it out. But that hasn't happened, and it's not happening tonight. So I apologize in advance for the sound. But yeah. Anyway, I need to close the door. I can't deal with cats. Don't want to deal with cats. Alright, so I did a little painting off stream. I got a fair amount done. I got the candles changed up a bit. They got some white on them now. And the green for the glow in the dark green for the flames is there, and it looks, honestly, the green glow in the dark looks fucking amazing. I am so stoked to get the rest of this, to get the actual little king dude and then the big guy glow in the dark too. It's gonna be sick as hell. I also got the banners done. I want to touch up a little bit right here on the pike one. But aside from that, the banners are done. This one looks amazing. I got the iron bar, the iron railing thing, painted silver and then rusted. Honestly, it looks sick. It's so cool. The way that everything got all silvery, and then I painted the rust over top of it. That looked amazing. I started using one of these sea brushes or sea sponges, and you can't really stick it in these little crevices, so I kind of just scrapped it and used a brush with a rust color. I bumped up the throne, the wood parts of the throne, with a little bit of a brown highlight, so that it separated itself from the rust of the bars. But honestly, and I think that worked pretty well. So tonight we're gonna be finishing up the swords. This little tip here and this bit here needs some paint, and then I'm gonna make some gray, because there's a bunch of paint all over the rocks from the iron rail work and from the throne, and just a couple black spots I actually missed in general around the throne. So I need to be covering. So I'm going to be covering those back up, and then we're going to and work on the tips of the swords, and then we're going to dark wash the base and maybe add a little bit of highlights to it. It wouldn't be on that order. I do the highlights and the dark wash, and then that's probably going to be it. I really can't think of too much else to do with this. Originally, I wanted to put some red down here on the steps to kind of imply blood or something, but I really think that would take away from it. I really don't feel like that's a good idea anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't. Shit. I think everything's okay. I don't think anything broke off. I don't see any pieces or anything. Holy fuck. Disaster. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think everything's okay. Everything's still here. Put it down. Fuck. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't even remember anymore. I don't know. Let's just get to it before I fucking break everything. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow. That was almost super fucked. Alright. I need a little hint of silver. Just the smallest bit, because I'm really not going to be using a lot, to get that little blip of sword. Come on, where is it? I know I have silver in here. There we go. Perfect. Just the smallest hint of silver. And I need to do the same thing with a yellow, and then I will do the gold once that dries. Because I want to give the sword tips just the shine. I just wanted to make it. Just want to make it look like metal. You know, I just want it to look like metal. As right now, it's just kind of a gray. It's like stone. I mean, I'm not going to be doing anything fancy with it or anything. I don't even know what you could do that's fancy with it, honestly. But I just want to give it that little bit of a shine. And then when we do the dark wash for the rocks, we're going to also do the dark wash for the tips of the swords. Because right now it's just like blue and red. It's just flat color. It hasn't been dirtied up or anything. So I want to get that dirty. And one of the things I was considering was maybe painting there's like a black piece here to the javelin where it connects the wood to the point and stuff to the ornate parts. I'm not sure if I actually want to paint that anything, if I want to just keep it the solid black. If I do, I need to repaint it black. Because there's some stray gold and yellow that's on it. So I don't know. I might not do that. I'm not really sure. You know, think about it. If I did paint it, I think I would paint it gray and silver. And like having this little blip of metal here, of metal silver paint, is that's why the thought came to mind, because I've got it and I'd like to waste as little paint as possible. I think we'll bust out the mid yellow, which I really don't have to squeeze or do anything with. Just flip to do the tip of the sword. Get that done and out of the way, and then we can wait for that to dry. After it dries, we'll put on the gold, and we'll dark wash that too. Stop. Gosh, that fan is annoying as hell. I really need to fix that. Just haven't found the time with the new baby and everything. I barely find the time to do this, let alone fix a part of my computer, which honestly I really just need to do. I really just need to go in there and clean it out and get that running properly again. I got a feeling there's a bunch of hair and crap in there. I don't know where the hair would have come from. But, you know, I've had this computer for a really long time, so it kind of just makes sense that there would be some shit in there, you know. Because that's what happens to computers. They just get shit in them. They get shit on. And then stuff is just there. I never did the social media whatever. There we go. There. So we did that. I need to make the gray again, which I did with black and white. And I don't need to make a huge amount of it. I just need to make enough. Did I really not paint? That's kind of surprising. I thought I would have done that. Oh well. Alright. Black. Probably don't need more than that. I really don't need a lot of white. I really don't want to use a lot of white. If I use a lot of white, it's going to become too gray. Since I want this to remain a... Shit. I want this to remain a super dark gray. I really don't want it to become a light gray. So I really need to make sure that I don't use a lot of white when I mix them together. So I'm going to try Just take like a little blip, blip, and then mix that in, and hopefully that will be all I need. Of course it isn't enough. I am not surprised at all. I'll just take another little blip. I think that's still too dark. Yep. Now's where I start making mistakes. Let's take this much. That's pretty close to the same. I think just like a little dab more ought to do it. That might have been too much. Nope. Nope, I think that's actually good. I think that's good. Yeah. I mean, even if it's just a little bit off, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm not going to repaint the whole thing. There's no point. I just need to cover up certain spots. Yeah, that's actually really... If that's not the gray color, it's really, really fucking close. So we're going to go with that. And so now we've got our rock gray. And we'll wipe off the brush. Because we really don't want... Really want the brush to be clean. Good enough. Alright. So let's take the gray. I want to get the spots that I missed. So there's a couple spots up here at the throne that are just the solid black from the primer. And there are some spots where I made the brown from the throne. I was just a little sloppy with it. Which, you know, it happens. It's not a big deal. That's why we're going back and painting over it with the gray again. It's okay. And then, yep, there we go. Okay, there's that. I'm going to cover up this red and brown that got messed up. And I want to cover up the black that's here. Because I don't want primer colors on here if I don't have to have them. Because that's just going to look... It's just going to look ugly to have a primer color. I mean, unless I needed it to be black, which I do when it comes to the king guy. There is a black, he's got like hair and stuff coming out of his helmet. I am going to make that be black. So I'm not going to paint that. I'm just going to let the primer just be there. Which is fine. It's going to be, the black is black I'm going to be able to get. And yeah. Okay, so that's good. There's a little bit on the back. Looks like there's a little bit of the emerald green got on the rock in the back. Just a little bit, not a lot. There's a couple spots on the stairs I want to fix from the candle stuff. Not too much though. I actually inadvertently did something interesting. See, because of all the candles and stuff, because you know wax drips and gets all over stuff and whatnot when you use it, I kind of goofed a bit with the candles and made the candle wax stuff go on the rocks and stuff, the candle wax color. And it actually kind of looks like the wax has been melting and whatnot, which, you know, my wife kind of pointed out and was like, hey, I thought you did that on purpose because it looks like it's melted wax. And I'm like, no, it kind of just looks sloppy. But after looking at it again, it does actually kind of look good that way. So I'm probably going to leave a good chunk of that on here. Because it does kind of just look like melted wax. There are definitely some spots, though, like this one, that shouldn't be here and don't need to be here. So I'm definitely going to fix that. So there's that. This is still broken. I should really glue that on. So the majority of the other, except for that one, I don't like that one. The majority of the other candle oopsies, I'm probably just going to keep and say that they're melted candle wax, because then I can be lazy, and also it actually kind of looks good, which is really nice. I love having accidental strokes that look like they were on purpose. I love that about painting. I would imagine that Bob Ross would feel the same way when he did his painting back when he was alive. The whole happy accidents thing. I definitely understand that a lot after picking up this hobby of painting. The concept of kind of making a mistake, but also it looks really cool, so let's just keep it there. That has happened probably more times than I'd care to admit. Especially with dry brushing. Oh my gosh, dry brushing. You just go to town on that, and half the time you don't even know what you're doing. And then you take a step back and you look, and it's like, holy shit, this is amazing. How did this even happen? Alright, I'm just going to touch up a couple of these spots on the rocks where there's some rust paint, and also a couple black spots that I missed in general. I definitely got sloppy. My first pass of gray, I just kind of went and I messed up a fair bit. I think that's probably it now. I think that's probably going to be it. Okay, so now I'm going to take the gray that I have here. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. Since I'm done with the normal rock color, I'm going to add a little white to it. And I'm going to dry brush the lighter gray onto the rocks. I want to be careful that I focus on the rocks themselves, and that's it. Because if I put any of the lighter colors on anything else, I'm going to have to repaint it, and I really don't want to redo the rusty metal or any of the other stuff, really, for that matter. So I'll probably keep the highlights off of the throne step and the steps in general. Probably won't put any of the highlights on the steps, and just keep it all for the rock, and try to just do a little bit of stuff, and then we'll dark wash it all. Also, before I do that really quick, I want to get some of the gold, and I'm going to do that sword, because that won't take very long. It's just going to be like 2 seconds. So I want that sword. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, that's more gold than I wanted, but whatever. So I'll do that sword really quick. Just really dab this on the gold, and then that's done. Because that's definitely dry by now. I really want it to look like gold and not just a flat yellow. I feel like it's important to put down a base color underneath the silver and the gold paint that I'm using. because it's really, really watery. And so you end up either needing to coat it like 5 or 6 times before it actually looks really good. Or you put on a base paint color, so something like a yellow, something similar to what you want the end result to be. So in this case, yeah, it's yellow for the gold or some gray for the silver, and then you put the gold and silver paint on top after that. I really think that pulls in the colors that you want first. I think it's a good like base layer, and then I think it adds a lot. I think it helps add to the actual color you want rather than having it just be flat garbage color, if that makes sense. All right, now we need to do the highlights for the rocks. So the dry brush highlights. So let's make our light gray color. We are going to need more white than that. And just really lighten this gray up a bit. I don't want to go too crazy, but I also need it to be noticeably different. That's probably good. I got a nice looking, it's definitely not, it's not the color of the gray that I have in the tube over here. But it's a nice dark gray that isn't the same dark gray as the rocks. And that's what's important. That's what we want. We just want it to be a lighter gray that isn't what we could get out of the tube. It's darker than that. A little bit darker than that. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. So we'll do that. We'll try to get all the excess paint off the brush, because this is the brush I want to dry brush with. What I mixed with. Very smart move. Very smart decision to dry brush and mix with the same brush. All right. So we'll take this and we'll just go bloop, 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 and just drag it along and just let it do its magic. Just let it do what it do. Actually, this is really similar to the... I may have goofed a bit. Yeah, it's not... I need more white. Where did I put the white? Excuse me? Okay, it's over here. I'm sure those of you watching at home knew exactly where the white was that entire time. I lost it. All right, so it's a little too dark, unfortunately. I put my finger in the gold again, so that's fine. I did that earlier. Or I put it in the yellow. Now I put it in the gold. Lovely feeling. Love having sticky paint fingers. It's great. It's not that bad. It's just a little annoying. That's all. That might be a little too dark still. Oddly enough, I might actually go for the gray that's in the tube now that I'm looking at this. Because I'm really making this light now. So I want it to actually pop and show up on the rocks, and making it the gray that's in the tube, it'll definitely pop. That was it's definitely way too dark earlier. This should be more noticeable. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to exist. Yeah, that's way better. This is a way better gray. I just need to make sure that I get rid of a lot of the moisture. add some texture to the rock. This might still be too dark. I don't know. Like, I can see it because I'm looking at it, but it might not be the right... I don't know. It's hard to... kind of hard to tell, you know? Because I can see it, but is everybody else that looks at it going to see it? I don't know the answer to that. I think one of my kids is awake, so I might have to stop. So I'm hearing him call for me. Hearing him call daddy, daddy. I need to stop. I'll come back later. Actually, let me see how my wife is going to take it. Hold on. taken care of. Middle boy woke up, just wanted some snuggles. Now he is asleep. Okay. I think the thing I need to remember is that it doesn't matter if overall if other people see the highlights and stuff or not. I know they're there. And that's what's important. This is my painted figure. And if I make a mistake, I'm going to know it's there. So I need to fix it regardless of whether or not other people see it. I think it should be fixed. And I need to remember that. And so even if people don't notice the detail in the highlighting that goes on in this location or on these rocks, I know it's there. And I know that I worked on it and made it look better than just a flat, boring gray color. I added dry brush highlighting, and that really pulled out a lot of the detail that's on these rocks. And then we're going to dark wash it, and that'll help a lot too. But I need to remind myself that this is my figure, and I need to make it so that I like it, not so that other people like it. Even though I'm still going to try to enter this in the competition so that other people will like it, and I'll win the competition. Yeah, I think I said this before. Archvillain Games does a monthly competition with their Patreon and their My Mini Factory tribes. And I had to cancel my tribe because I had already been on it for a year. I have so many figures and things from them, from their sets and stuff from the past year, that I'm probably never going to actually paint everything from it. But the point is that was only supposed to go on for a year, and I got in a little bit of trouble for letting it go on for a little bit more than that. So this is the last month, and I figured since it's the last month, I should actually try and enter the painting competition this time. And frankly, it's a really nice set, so I'm excited to give it a go with this set in particular. I really like the main bad guy dude. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's really cool. I love necromancers and things like that, and just all the weird monstery shit that happens in these kinds of fantasy settings. So that's always the stuff I want to go for. So I'm really happy to have him printed out. I'm really glad the print went pretty well overall. And I'm excited to see how my painting stacks up compared to other painters. Because I'm still relatively new to it all. I mean, I've done painting and stuff before, just like generalized painting and whatnot. And I'm not the best at that. I'm okay, I guess. I definitely need a lot more work when it comes to like brushstrokes and stuff and creating forms from nothing. However, with minis and figures, I am not needing to come up with my own stuff. I just paint what someone else has already created. But I paint it how I want to paint it, how I interpret it should be. And I like that. I like that a lot when it comes to this hobby. I really like that, because I'm not gonna sit down and figure out how to use that was a mistake. I'm not gonna sit down and figure out how to use Maya or Blender or any of the 3D programs that exist out there. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I had that opportunity in college. I didn't take it. And I just don't. It's just not my thing. It's a lot of effort. And it's really cool. And I do like it. The bits of it that I've done have been enjoyable. But it's fairly meticulous. And takes a lot of time. And I just don't have that kind of... I don't have that kind of time, for one. I don't have that kind of mental creativity drive, if that makes sense. Like, I just don't have the drive to do it. I just don't have it. So I really like the idea of taking somebody else's creation and having some liberty with it, and just kind of having fun with it and making it my own, you know? Just making my own interpretation of it. And I think that's a lot of fun. I think it's a lot easier for me because I don't have to make my own shit. I just have to paint it. The painting part makes it my own shit. I really like that. I'm going to get some fresh water. I need some new water because I'm going to make a wash. Got the water. So now we need to sit down and do the black wash all over the rocks and the blips of the sword. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I ever did a dark wash on this flag or the pole arm at all. I'm pretty certain I didn't. So I'm going to hit that with a dark wash as well. Just to dirty things up a bit, yeah. And the rocks definitely need it. They definitely need it. I mean, the highlight was good. It was definitely a good highlight. It turned out pretty well. I think it looks good. But it needs a little bit of dirtying it up because it just looks too clean. You know, like that's the whole thing I really like about dark wash is that it gets things just a little dirtier, and that little bit of extra dirty just really makes it feel more realistic when you do it, you know? Like it really adds to a piece. So I really like it. I'm happy to do it again. And all I do is I take just the tiniest little hint of black paint and a bunch of water. Not too much, but enough. And then you just kind of mix it around in the water until it gets nice and super ultra mega thin. Because you want it to be thin, you want it to be a little bit on the runny side, so that when you do go over stuff, it finds all the nooks and crannies to go into, and it doesn't overpower what's already there. So that you end up being able to still see the stuff that's underneath, while also filling in all the gaps and making things just a little bit dirtier looking, a little bit more, make it look a little more real. That's really what the dark wash does, is it just makes things look just the slightest hint more realistic. And I'm noticing that there's some gray coming out in the water from my dark wash solution. I'm wondering if maybe I needed to wait a little bit more before putting this on the stuff that I literally just highlighted. That's probably the stuff I just dry brushed. That was probably a mistake. Yeah, that might have been a mistake. I might be losing a bit of my dry brushing for this, but you know, that might be okay overall. It might be all right. I don't know. Yeah, this looks. I love adding a dark wash to things. I'm so glad. So there's a guy on YouTube called Black Magic Crafts, and I've started following him right before or during the time frame of starting this hobby, and I watched him do a bunch of stuff. And the one thing that he continually claimed to love doing is adding the dark wash, is adding washes to whatever it is he's working on, because it just he said it added a lot of detail to things, and it just, man, I gotta agree 1000%. Every single time add a wash to it, if it's a dark wash, if it's a black wash, if it's just anything at all, it just really pulls a piece together in the end, because it finds all the nooks and crannies. It gets the paint in places where normally you wouldn't be able to reach using normal painting techniques. Just putting the brush on something, it's just not, it doesn't quite pull it off just using a regular brush stroke. But by putting a dark wash on it, the water just fills in all the nooks and crannies. It brings out all the little details, all the bumps on a step, all the bumps in a rock or a candle, or just anything. It just brings it all forward, so it becomes more visible, and it makes it look more like whatever it is you're painting. So in this case, these rocks look far more realistic and way more like regular rocks when I do this. I did the same thing to the throne when I did that to the throne. Did the same thing to the railings, the rusted iron railings. When I did it to that, it just makes things a little bit it just brings out the detail of things, whereas normally the detail wouldn't be there from just a flat, normal paint color. So that's really the thing about it, is it adds shadow and depth to places where shadow and depth didn't exist previously. And like I said before, it adds a sense of dirtiness to whatever it is that you're painting. So it looks like, especially with a piece like this, where I'm trying to make everything look old and used and kind of, in the sense of the railings, rusty. Adding a dark wash really makes it really ages the thing you're painting. It really does make it look older. Sometimes by a very drastic amount. It really depends on what you're painting. But it can really bring out the age of an object, the age of a piece. And that's kind of what's happening with this. It's making things look dirtier. It's making things look messy. It's making things look older. Like it's been sitting there for ages. And I don't think I did it to the purple one either, to be honest. I mean, the purple one looked pretty good as is, but getting that extra little bit really isn't going to hurt. Because it'll get right into the folds and leave a dark shadow in the folds where if you try to do it by hand, oh gosh, fuck that. That ain't worth it. Alright. So there's that. I need to do this to the handles of the swords to dirty them up, make them look a little older. Boop, boop, boop. Without, destroying it. That looks good. Do it to this sword, dirty it up a bit, make it a little tart. Oopsie. Oopsie, don't do it there. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want it there. I'm already done with the throwing. I don't need to do that again. So let's dirty up the handle for this sword. Just really make it look like it's been there for forever. That's good. Okay. I think I'm done with this bad boy. I think. Just add a little more dark wash in places, just kind of for fun. And a couple of the rock spots. But I think I'm done with the base. Finally. Yeah. I think I'm good with the base. Alright. Sick. Alright, I'm gonna go put that somewhere to dry. We can start working on the dude. Why is this here? Alright. That's done. The base is finished. Now it's on to the dude. Now, where did I put him? I put him up there. Put him right here. Alright, so we got the king. And the king is small, so the king should go pretty quickly. I want to give him golden armor with some red spots here and there, so that he's got he's got some depth to him. I want it to be red, and I want it to be gold, and then I'll dark wash it to fill in all the little detailies. And then, after that, I'm going to add a fair amount of glow-in-the-dark colors. So we've got a really nice glow-in-the-dark yellow. This glow-in-the-dark yellow is really good. And then I've got a glow-in-the-dark red, which is not overly great. It kind of looks like an orange, but I don't really know what else to do with it in that regard. And then I might use a little bit of the green on the sword, because I want the sword to be... I think I want the sword to be kind of greenish, so that it has that spirit energy to it that the big guy's going to have. So I want to do yellows, I want to do some reds for the highlighting, and then I want to do some dark wash. Then we do the glow in the darks on top with a glow in the dark green on the sword. But the sword itself is going to be normal sword colors with like a gold handle and just gold for the handle. But I want there to be the green energy thing, so that when it's dark, or when you're looking at it in normal lighting, it looks like a regular sword with maybe like a hint of, I don't know, something to it. And then when you turn out the lights, it is a full-on green coloring. I'm also seeing a support in between his fingers that I need to remove, and I really hope I don't mess that up. I don't see the pin that I had been using. I must have put that over in the other spot. I need to really be careful with this so I don't snap off his fingers. I don't think I can get it with this. Alright, let me see. That's not small enough. Alright, let me get the pin. It should just be right over here, I think. Yeah. I stole this pin from my wife without her knowing. I just kind of found it one day, and I was like, ooh, I could use that pin. I don't think she cares. I'm pretty sure I've taken a pin before. Ah. Well, aside from hitting me in the face, that went well. And it came right up. Great. Alright. I need yellow. I need... So I'm gonna also cut him in the gold. So he's gonna be gold. He's not gonna be just yellow. So I need yellow. I need red because I want to put some red in his stomach area and maybe his cape. I want his cape to be red, and then maybe some of the under armor at his arms or under spots at his arms. I think I want to make red too. I was thinking there, so maybe like. I'm going to make the cape a dark red. I'm going to make the rest of it a bit brighter, I think. And then I'll paint the rest of it yellow. I think I want his main armor to be yellow and gold, and I want the other stuff to be red. I don't know why. It just feels like that's going to be the better looking stuff, you know. I don't know why. I'm really not sure. It just feels like it's going to be better that way. Alright, so if we're making the main dude red and we're going to make the rest of it yellow, we should probably start on the under armor so that when we paint over the rest of it with the yellow, we are not running into issues. So I want it to be just like a bright normal red. So I think this scarlet might be the way to go. Just double check and make sure that this is the right kind of red. This is like a pizza sauce red. I don't think that's quite what I want. No, I don't want pizza red. Let me check the crimson. It might just need to be crimson again. I think crimson might be... Yeah, crimson's what I want. Because that's a regular red. Let me, before we 100% go crimson, let me check the rose. I feel like that's going to be more of a... That's just straight up pink. No. Okay. Crimson is definitely where I want to go. Give me 2 seconds. I might be at my time for this. I gotta go check real quick. Okay. We can do... So we're going to do the base layers, and then we'll work on the other stuff another time. But we can start with the crimson. I think that's definitely the right color. And then we need a yellow, but we're going to be coating the yellow in gold once it dries. So we'll probably just use the same mid-yellow color we've been using. Let me double check on the yellow ochre and see. I suppose that might be more of a gold color actually than the mid-yellow. Let me look at the mid-yellow again. Have I been making a mistake? I have been. This is full-on yellow. I don't want mid-yellow. I want to use yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is by far more goldish. But for the moment, we're going to start with the crimson. So let's bust out the crimson and slap it on here. So I'm going to get all the little red parts done first before we jump into the yellow stuff. Take my little brush. There's my other one. I knew I had another little brush. They're both about the same, really, quality-wise. Need to get more pointed, small pointed brushes. How do these look? Are there any? No, these are all massive. There's none of those are good. Didn't I have? I do right here. Oh, right, these ones. I mean, they've come to a point, but it's not. They're not small. Maybe I can use this one. This is one I've used before, but it's been a while. This one actually looks pretty good. It's a little stiff, but this one looks pretty good stiffness-wise. We'll try using this brush. And it's okay if I go over spots that I don't necessarily want to be red, because we're going to focus more on the yellow than we are on the red. The red can be sloppy. So we're going to make the red here. The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to paint over the hair, because the hair would end up needing to be repainted, because I want it to stay black. I want his hair black. But if I paint it over with a different color, then I'm kind of screwed. But we'll work on making him red. Where he needs to be right now. Nice crimson-y color. Huh. That's interesting. One arm looks like it has more of a gauntlet on it than the other one. So I'm actually not really able to do a whole heck of a lot with that. Not with that arm anyway. Okay. I think that's it for this bright red. I'm going to try to... I really didn't want to do a whole lot with it. There's really not a lot of spots on here that I really want to be red. I just really wanted to get the spots that look like they might be kind of undery red for some reason. I feel like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I feel like red is the correct choice for it. It just feels right. You know, it's just one of those, it feels right decisions. All right, so now that that's done, we're going to do the yellow. And we're going to basically cover him in the yellow ochre. Pretty much all of him, except for his cape. His cape is going to be red, but it's not going to be the crimson red. It's going to be a darker red. I mean, I'll use the crimson as the base, the overall base, but I'm not going to use, I'm not going to make it stay crimson. I'm going to add some black to it and make it darker. We can use this brush for this part, since we're going to be doing pretty much all of him this yellow color. A little bit of water so the layer's not super thick. Make it a little bit easier for me to do this with. Yeah, it's going to be really good when I bring in the... I made a mistake. I really need to make this thicker. Yeah. to use the smaller brush for that bit. So I'll do that in a little bit. Let me get the stuff over here. Actually need more yellow ochre. This is the one time I didn't put out enough paint. Very surprising. I've actually been pretty decent with guessing how much I actually need, but it looks like I just needed a little bit more. Nope, I need to use the smaller brush for that. This guy is looking really badass. I'm very happy so far. You know, looking at him again, the color choices I'm making kind of remind me of Goldar from the Power Rangers. Goldar was the minion, one of the minions of Rita Repulsa, and he was he wore gold and red armor. And he was definitely one of the more formidable opponents for the Power Rangers. But they never really fully utilized him to his maximum capabilities. At least not in my opinion, they didn't. So this kind of reminds me, the coloring that I'm using right now definitely reminds me of him. So I'm kind of feeling a little nostalgic, which I think is fair. Power Rangers made up a fair amount of my childhood, so it makes sense that I would recognize that and this as that, at least color-wise. Yeah, I really like this color choice that I went with. I really like the gold and the red. Looks really good. I'm probably gonna have to repaint his hair black regardless, even though I'm trying really hard not to paint his hair gold. Yeah, no, I need to redo it. Damn it. Actually, might have goofed a little bit there. Possibly. I think I need a little more red in a spot that I didn't think I needed red. Yeah, no, I do. There we go. That looks better. Alright. Clear off the red. Give me back the yellow. Another random support to rip off of him that I need the needle for. Hit me in the face again somehow. Weird. Okay. Yeah, this guy looks awesome like this. This is really good. I really like this color scheme. Yeah, that looks amazing. He's going to look really good on the throne, and even better when he becomes set up for glow in the dark. Check it out. You really can't see him. I hate my setup here. Look at that, though. He looks really cool. I'll make sure that we get some good good pictures put up on the final video so you guys can really see how good he looks, because he looks amazing. I absolutely adore it. I think this is perfect for him. I'm not going to paint his cape tonight because I want to make sure that I get all the gold and stuff and the red set up first. Ooh, I missed a spot. I need to get that now. Okay. Alright. I need to stop here. It's getting late. And I just need to stop. So we got the base done. And we got the base coats done for my dude. For Mr. Atrum Rex. He looks... in my opinion, he looks fucking sick. He needs to be cleaned up a bit. He probably needs a bit more yellow paint than he has, but that's fine. Really only wanted that for the base coat anyway to turn him gold. Yeah, that's going to do it for tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed watching me paint and, not talking to me at all since nobody actually comes to these things. And I will catch y'all maybe tomorrow. I don't know when the next time I'm going to stream and paint will be, but I'm definitely going to try to paint again tomorrow. And work on this guy some more. Gosh, he looks so fucking cool like this. I'm stoked to get him finished and get him glowing in the dark. Oh man, when he glows in the dark, shit. That's going to look so good. Oh man, I can't wait. Alright, I'll catch y'all later.